did we get here? How did we get here? What in the Alice in Wonderland nightmares is going on right now?
All I can say is how fucking dare you?
If you voted for that man, if you voted for anybody other than Kamala and you live in one of the states that it was, close, or if you didn't vote, fuck you.
The best is yet to come.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America. I love you.
How the fuck is this still happening? All I've ever known politically is hatred.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
It's the biggest red wave I've seen since Ronald Reagan's 49-state victory.
There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country.
I can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy.
I hear what you're saying, and I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite, who are hurting tonight.
If she were a 6'4" white man from Arkansas or from, Florida, do you think she would be losing by that much?
I think that we've got to be honest. Among Hispanic men and black men, there's a lot of misogyny.
There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to, and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who try to dream a big dream over the past couple of months.
It's not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
There's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from black men.
And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy.
Things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States.
To all the pollsters, the election pollsters, blow me. I don't ever want to from you again, ever.
People who said that he was a Hitler lover weren't Democrats, they were Republicans. People who said that he was a fascist weren't Democrats, they were Republicans who worked for him.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I dot of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on, what day is it? Monday? I don't even know what day it is anymore, but we do have massive freakouts going on right now because the one, the only President Trump will be in Madison Square Garden tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals, Knicks versus Spurs, and holy crap, people are losing their minds. It's crazy. Stephen A. Smith is crying. There's so many people that are upset that President Trump will be at the game tonight, and we're going to talk about that. Along with everything else going on, California is a third world country with the cheating that's going on. We got Israel and Iran. They are fighting like children. It's crazy. But we got Marmillin. Says pre-stream chat grift tags. Hail the 199. Hope everyone has a fantastic day so far as we hear from, I'm not even going to try to say it because I might slip up and say something else. Thank you, Marmillin. Zwani for $100. Holy crap. Zwani is back, everyone. Back from a relaxing weekend with my best friend in her condo in Sun Valley. It was so great to not have to listen to the fig, but I missed the chat. So I had to come back. Hail CobraCast 199. Mod Lives Matter, Chat Lives Matter, LFG. Welcome back, Zwani. We missed you. To be fair, I didn't stream that much the last week because I've had a lot going on. But we're back now. So we're back and we're rocking and rolling. Happy to have you back as well. Thank you, Zwani. Hail to you. Hope you had a good time disconnecting from the internet, because Lord knows we all need to do that from time to time. Scully with 50 says, hail chat. Hope all is well with everyone. Have been missing streams. I think my notifications is jacked up. No. There hasn't been a lot of streams. Yesterday was the first stream I've done in a few days, I think. I don't know. I have not been streaming as much lately because I've been busy with family stuff and real life stuff and all of that. Spoilers for real life, but as you get older, your parents get older, and it's not a fun process. Not at all. But that's life. So welcome to the real world. It sucks, but it's the reality of everything going on, and it's not fun. But we have stupidity of the internet to laugh at to keep us with positive thoughts, I guess. But thank you, Scully. Hail to you. Let's see. We got Jeremy Cyborg says their names cannot be forgotten in memoram. Oh, is this the title of your song that you were talking about, Jeremy the Cyborg? Is that the title of it? Because we did link that one. Let's see. Yeah, I lost my dad already. Only 72, says Hot Pocket. Sorry to hear that. 62. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And, obviously we have people in the chat that's it. Okay. All right. Got you, Jeremy Cyborg. But yeah, I know we have people in the chat that have lost parents. Luckily I haven't yet. I'm very, very lucky. But yeah, ma'am. Prayers up for everybody in the chat. So, George Ramirez says, saw Obsession during the weekend and loved it. I think it is significantly better than Backrooms. However, both deserve your time and money, in my humble opinion. Let's see. Phil says, I'll never vote a woman tax. I respect that. MacIver says, sup, Patriots. Right back at you. The Grand Duke says, Skinny Jer's so old he barely does one CobraCast a day. His arthritic hands can barely hold a controller. Playing Fortnite was a fluke. Probably meds kicking in. Not yet, but I am getting old. I'm getting so old, I'm going to play Fortnite again tonight. Stream Hero says, watched since 2015, supposed CobraCast since it's the beginning, and now proud 2-year member of the IDOT Force Unit 199 Snake Pit Army. Roll Tide. Let's freaking go. Malice the Devil says, much love to the Snake Pit and the 199. Jeremy is a total fig, but we got you covered. Thank you. Aaron Goldstein says, took my friends to New York City. Rockefeller Center is draped in pride BS. I'm ashamed to be a New Yorker. Only Trump and Jalen Brunson can save this city. Well, listen, we've got a lot going on surrounding President Trump heading to Game 3 tonight in New York. Boy, oh boy, people are freaking out big time, okay? And one person that's freaking out about this is the power of Trump. This is the power of Trump. He breaks everybody's brains no matter what. And now here we have Stephen A. Smith crying about President Trump. Listen to what Stephen A. Smith says about Trump showing up to the Knicks game tonight.
If it causes the New York Knicks to lose tonight, I'm blaming him. I'm blaming the president of the United States. I'm going to stay on that. And damn it, I hope the GOP lose votes because of it if we lose tonight. I'm going to be against them. All of them. I'm telling you that right now. We better not lose tonight's game. We better not lose tonight's game. You understand what I'm saying? I've been fair-minded, down the middle, as an independent for a long time. Hell hath no fury like Stephen A. scorned if the New York Knicks lose tonight. I'm going to be in their ass like back pockets, like white on rice. I'm telling you that right now. We better not lose tonight's game. We were riding. We were flowing. And this man going to sit up there and show up to the Garden tonight. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You got people got to show up 4 or 5 hours before the damn game.
That's what he's mad about.
No. I'm mad about the watch parties.
You may have to take the subway.
Right?
No.
In this suit.
That's not. You
You and Tom Ford might be on the subway.
I'm a man of the people.
By the way, Bill Clinton went to see Michael Jordan multiple times in person in Washington.
Right. I'm saying. Hold on, whoa. First of all, that's Washington. That's Washington. Is right down the road. Number 2. If it.
I like how they called him out on that. Now, also right here, he says, the president has no business showing up in New York City. I'm dead serious. It's selfish. Here we go.
It's strictly a basketball segment. This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game. I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan.
You already know that's bullshit. There ain't no chance in hell that this dude would have said anything about another president doing this, because other presidents have done this consistently. There's not a chance in hell that he would have said this. And he didn't say this stuff all those years ago. He has never said anything about a president showing up. He is lying his ass off.
This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan. You have any idea what the congestion is going to be like in New York City here? I get off my radio to strictly.
So wait a minute. Did they have any concerns about congestion when they had President Trump show up to his court hearings in New York City? Did they have a problem with all of the attention that would bring? Did you have a problem with that because they forced Trump to show up in New York City for bullshit charges that they were throwing his way? I don't think you had a problem with that, did you? Did you cry about congestion then, Stephen A. Smith? Also, to say that Donald Trump doesn't have any business being in New York City, you remember this clip right here when Democrats loved Donald Trump in New York?
Like Donald Trump, who is a big Knicks fan and who joins us now. Donald, I know you're a Knicks fan, so are you disappointed that Kobe's not here, or are you glad he's not here because it ups your chances?
Well, I guess you could look at it both ways, but I'd like to see Kobe play. I came here to see my man Kobe. Kobe is great. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, what happened to Kobe? But I guess you.
Man of the people, showing proper respect to the Mamba. He could have thrown shade because he's a Knicks fan, but he still respects greatness.
A little problem.
Yeah, you got to talk to your friends at the NBA. Are you glad your teammates didn't come off the bench this time?
I'm just glad we got the win.
Fine, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Dick and Jimmy.
All right, Craig, and a lot of defense, too, because the Pacers were held
Oh, look at
scoreless in the
there.
last 2 minutes.
Patrick Ewing, one of the greatest New York Knicks players of all time, showing some love to the Don.
41 seconds after they had led 93-88, the Knicks scored.
Celebrity cameraman
Donald Trump, look at that.
How you doing, folks?
We must be paying our cameraman a pretty penny.
You're paying a lot of money. It's a great job.
Thanks for being with us, Don.
Thank you. Great game. Have a good time.
This is Shaquille O'Neal's shoe.
Oh my God!
Right here, which is a serious.
Is that
shoe.
a real
That's
shoe?
a real shoe. He took it off after a game and handed it.
Oh my God!
I carried it like this.
Yeah, I
So
guess
this-
because you don't
this
really
was-
like germs anyway, do you?
No, yeah, from
How are
Shaq.
you-
I don't
how
know.
are
So
Thing says New York.
there's the Don right there. But apparently Trump has no business being in New York City. Are you kidding me right now? This is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, the lifelong New Yorker Donald J. Trump, who lived his entire life in New York, has no business coming to his home state to watch his home team play. It makes no sense. These people continue to make a fool of themselves every single time. TDS, the worst disease in the world. Scully for Video says, does this Yahoo know how much Trump has done for New York? No. Donald Trump has literally helped rebuild New York in the 80s and the 90s. Donald Trump was the king of New York. The fact that Stephen A. is going to sit there and say this crap just makes him look even more ridiculous. It's unreal. But it's not just Stephen A., okay? It's not just Stephen A. But before we show you the rest of the craziness, the Don did show up. And he is a man of the people. Are you guys ready to see? The Don showed up to spend time with all of the regular peeps in New York City. Here is the Don in New York City before Game 3. Look at our president. Look at him.
I got you already. Come on. You want your boss? This is coming in there. My brother from another level. Yeah.
He said, great guy. He's a great guy.
This week coming in there. My brother from another level. Yeah.
Oh, man. You love to see it. Only Trump. Now, here we have Timu Obama. Hakeem Jeffrey says, it's not clear to me that Donald Trump is a big Knicks fan. My goodness. Again, it's not clear to Hakeem Jeffries if Trump is a big Knicks fan. One more time.
Nothing says New York like Donald Trump, who is a big Knicks fan and who joins us now. Donald, I know you're a Knicks fan, so are you disappointed that Kobe's not here, or are you glad he's not here because it ups your chances?
Well, I guess you could look at it both ways, but I'd like to see Kobe play. I came here to see my man Kobe.
But he's not a Knicks fan, guys. Let's listen.
You're a big Knicks fan, obviously. President Trump is going to the game tonight. Your reaction to that?
So I've had a few things to say about Donald Trump going to the Knicks game. And, at this point, it's game day. And I think Knicks fans just want to enjoy Game 3, the first home game that we've had in 2017.
Dude, this guy's entire existence is based off of trying to be like Barack Hussein Obama. His mannerisms, the way he talks, it's unbelievable how cringy he is.
7 years. But it also is not clear to me that Donald Trump is a big Knicks fan. I mean, does this guy even know the difference between Karl Rove and Karl Anthony Towns? I don't think so. He's just injecting himself into the NBA Finals because he always has to bring the MAGA circus into town. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, here we are. This is the left right here. They are completely controlled by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has so much power over them. Now, right here, let me see if I can find this. So this NBA insider claims Secret Service confronted him at an intersection. They thought he was a terrorist.
And myself, Malika, personally, I was actually stopped by Secret Service just right over there because my AirPod fell and Secret Service came up to me and said, hey, Secret Service, you're going to have to get out of the intersection. So I had to get out. After this, I'm going to go look for my AirPod case.
So we still haven't found the AirPod case, Shams?
We're still on the hunt.
Still on the look for the AirPod case. Yeah, let's keep this about the game tonight. It's the biggest game in 27 years. Shams, we wish you luck going and finding that AirPod. You kind of look like you're dressed a little like Secret Service, so maybe they'll let.
Oh, man. Did they yell, this is MAGA country too? Always the victim. Always the victim. These people, this is unhinged behavior right now, man. What is going on? These people cannot think straight because of the Don. The Don is like, again, this is the face of the liberal woman when they have TDS. They all have the same face right there. That's all of the liberal women right now. They're just hissing at Donald Trump. They're so angry. They're so mad. How dare Donald Trump? However, in a twist, you're not going to believe what this twist is. You're not going to believe this. Shocking twist. Whoopi Goldberg defends President Trump. What? Whoopi Goldberg defends President Trump? Huh?
I'm sorry. Trump and Mayor Mamdani are Knicks fans and have been. They're New Yorkers. And you can't, there's nothing either one of them can do to change what's happening in the city for this team. They can't, you know, they're there. Okay, there's a lot of, there's a lot of, you know what? I don't think anything can jinx anything. I think these guys are on a mission.
They are on a mission.
On a mission. They're like the Blues Brothers. They're on a mission from God. And they have been winning and doing everything. And, you know, you could be buck naked up in the box and ain't nobody paying attention.
Please do not.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Okay, but I will say, if I were advising him, I would be like, do not go, because if they lose tonight, everyone's going to blame Trump.
The jinx.
You just cannot put that out.
Now, the theory behind this could be that she's basically using Trump to defend Mamdani, who has no leg to stand on for being a Knicks fan. So that's my theory behind why would she even be defending Trump. And it's because she's trying to defend Mamdani. So she's using Trump in order to defend Mamdani. That would be my theory behind it. It's still very shocking that she would even defend him, but that would be my theory as to why she's going in that direction. I don't know, but crazy times indeed. Crazy times indeed. Okay, now, so we're going to be paying attention to that. That's tonight, and so we're going to be paying attention to all of that. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. BC Man says, old Joe Griggs, Jeremy Biden sarcasm. Tired Retro Gamer says, Backrooms was excellent. Looking forward to Obsession. Off topic. But did you feel the quake? I heard reports that there was, but I didn't feel anything here in Orlando. So JRL says, hello, Jeremy. Always appreciate the streams. Did G&G enjoy the video game tournament? Have a blessed day. Hail the chat, the 199. We are still going over that, but I really appreciate you putting that together, brother. So we've been kind of theorizing about like what games we could add and things like that. So more to come on that. Let's see. Red Mage for 20 says, funny how Timu Obama is saying that Trump is inserting himself into the NBA finals when he's doing the exactly that. Sit the F down, Jeffries. Agreed. Sit down, Jeffries. Nobody cares about your BS. Godzilla's Greaser says, you say Timo Obama as if Obama is equality. You just mad says Timo Obama learned his acting from Tyler Perry. All right. So next up, obviously, we had this crazy situation last night happening with Israel and Iran. President Trump at 5:36 a.m. Trump was up at 5:36 a.m. And he says, Israel and Iran must immediately stop shooting. 5:36, this dude is up. All right. So this is Trump tells Israel and Iran to stop shooting. Both sides say attacks halted after weekend flare-up.
The furious sounds of war there and a new message from Iran. Of course, following this weekend strikes, Iran says they've stopped all military operations against Israel. Now to that warning, they say that Iranian leadership will continue with aggression if aggression from Israel continues. In fact, they promise much stronger and more crushing actions will follow. Those are the words of the Iranian leadership at this hour. Now, this latest exchange of words and fire comes after Israel struck the outskirts of Beirut on Sunday. And take a look at this. These are remnants of missiles fired towards Israel. Those are Israeli settlers, by the way, who are sitting next to the weapon that was sent to kill them. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv, where peace once again seems fragile.
According to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, they say they've concluded their latest military operation.
Well, again, the key is did you hear what he said? According to, did you hear what he said? According to.
Iran's Revolutionary
once again seems fragile.
According to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, they
That's all you need to know, that everything he's saying is bullshit.
say they've concluded their latest military operations, meaning the barrage of roughly 24 missiles fired toward Israel. The vast concentration of those were aimed toward the north, but we had air raid sirens and warnings here to head to the shelter this morning, and that hasn't happened since April. And the schools have been closed in anticipation of Iran going on the attack again. So we haven't heard anything really since this morning, as around 6 a.m., maybe 1 or 2 after that. So in a statement on Iranian state TV, they said they're ceasing attacks for now, but they warned that if these attacks continue, Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon, harsher attacks would follow. So it's certainly a positive step forward. But once again, we're in a wait and see situation here. So there's been the ceasefire between the United States and Iran, yet Iran has fired around 8 or 9 ballistic missiles toward U.S. bases since then. Who knows how many drones? And the U.S. military has launched multiple strikes at Iranian targets.
Are there birds in the vicinity? I do hear the birds in the background. Is what it sounds like is birds anyway. I do hear that.
Sides accuse each other of ceasefire violations without saying that they've broken their ceasefire themselves. So that is where we stand as these talks go ahead between the United States and Iran, Israel and Lebanon and Hezbollah. And for now,
Glad I'm not going crazy. He said, well, you probably still are going crazy because let's be honest, you are spending an afternoon watching CobraCast. So clearly you have some type of issues. And I totally understand that, by the way. So you probably are going crazy. You have some issues because you're watching this show, but you weren't going crazy in respect to the bird sound.
Anyway, things have gone quiet after we've seen the sharp escalation in violence overnight. Back to you.
All right, Charlie, and also we're watching Truth
I
Social
agree.
where President Trump says this: Israel and Iran must immediately stop shooting. So let's go live to Washington and CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, good to see you on a Monday. So did the president's words signal that he's feeling this latest escalation could unravel the U.S. peace talks with Iran?
Yeah, no question, Reed. I mean, think about how hard it has been, even in the absence of any missiles being fired, to try to find some kind of common ground with Iran. And we're not even talking about some big overarching deal on Iran's nuclear program. This is a much smaller deal just to...
So again, I will make the comment that very few people that are covering this will make, is that I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I really don't. I have no idea. But if I'm applying common sense to this, the more that we have followed this story, the more that it's clear to me anyway, that this situation is so complicated that this is why no other president has dared to get involved in this. And so you look at situations in the past where it doesn't matter what it is, it's all relative to the position or the leadership or whatever. So typically what happens in any situation with a leader that's not overly passionate is they think that if we just throw money at the problem, it'll go away. Okay. If we just throw more money at it, it'll eventually go away. That's how a lot of these CEOs handle problems. Or like, we'll just put more money into it and it'll deal with it. It's just like, a lot of these rich people that get caught up in lawsuits, their answer is just, give them the money and shut them up. With this is how historically people like, Obama and Biden, what did they do? They were like, we don't want to deal with this. Just give them more money. Just give them more billions of dollars. That's essentially how they wanted to handle it because they didn't want to deal with it. Trump, on the other hand, is dealing with it. But whether he expected it to be this complicated or not, I can't speak for. But it's clear that this situation is extremely complicated. And I have no idea how long this is going to take. But I will continue to say that I trust Trump to get this done. But it seems to be really, really, it just seems to be like children fighting and they're not listening.
end hostilities, get the Strait of Hormuz reopened, and agree to talk further about Iran's nuclear program. That has been a difficult needle to thread. And then if you've got Iran and Israel firing at each other, it becomes all the more difficult. And that's why you saw President Trump in an extraordinary move yesterday. Once Iran had begun firing on Israel, he actually said publicly on Truth Social, I'm telling, and he said to reporters as well, I'm telling the Israelis not to respond. I don't want them to retaliate because this could spiral out of control. Well, the Israelis responded anyway, and then he urged both sides to ratchet down the tension. And now he's saying today that he thinks that both sides actually do want a ceasefire. If they want a ceasefire and if they want a final deal, it has still proven elusive, Reed, and the last 24 hours probably don't help.
All right, much to watch. Nancy Cordes, thank you.
So that's the latest that we have, at least the latest I've heard. I mean, there may be some new developments. It's hard to figure out what's actually legit and what's not, but it's just a disaster. It's just a complete and total disaster. Now, we do have this right here from Fox where it says, well, this is an hour ago. This is 20 minutes ago right here. So here we go.
Security advisor to President Trump, Victoria Coates, is coming up. I will particularly ask her, this is war. Again, how do we negotiate with them? But first, to Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst on the ground in Tel Aviv, Israel. Trey.
Harris, good morning. A heavy exchange of fire overnight as the Iranians launched more than 24 ballistic missiles at Israel. The Israelis responding with a series of airstrikes across Iran. But today, Iran's IRGC says they have halted attacks against the Jewish state. Take a listen.
As we had promised, we acted accordingly. The powerful armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard groups, and the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran have demonstrated that while maintaining the highest level of defensive and offensive readiness, they acted upon their stated commitments with speed and precision and make their American Zionist enemies regret their actions.
This announcement by the Iranians came just minutes after President Trump posted on Truth Social saying, quote, both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Final negotiations on peace are proceeding, subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in its way. The blockade will remain in place and in full force and effect until a final deal is reached. Things should move quickly. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The president spoke with Fox News overnight as this Iranian ballistic missile attack was taking place. I asked the president what his message would be for Iran. He said, what I would suggest to Iran, you shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. The president indicated this certainly will make the negotiations more difficult, but again, he is encouraging both sides to reach an agreement. Israeli forces conducting a variety of strikes against the Iranian regime, specifically going after many of the air defense systems on the outskirts of Tehran and on the western side of Iranian territory. The Israelis also struck a petrochemical plant inside of Iran, an indication they are willing to escalate in order to de-escalate. Now, tonight, Harris, the question is whether or not this ceasefire is going to hold. We do expect in about 10 minutes to hear a new announcement from Israeli Prime Minister
Spoilers, it's not going to hold. Spoilers.
Benjamin Netanyahu. Harris?
All right, that is good to know. We will bring you back as the news warrants on that particular piece of the puzzle. Thank you very much. And focus now, Victoria Coates, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump and Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security. Great to see you. Look, there is urgency now because this looks like
IRGC is not serious about peace. No, I don't think they are. I'm not sure any country in the Middle East is serious about, peace. Daniel says that Trump said Israel will be on their own soon. When did he say that? NUFC says, not a horror fan, watched Obsession, very well made. It is a very well-made movie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Pyromorpheus says, what would you do with $1 million? Trump turned his into $1 billion, built hotels, casinos, and offices, employed thousands of Americans. Trump 199. What would I do with $1 million? If somebody handed me $1 million today, I would put it all into Geeks and Gamers. And I would take Geeks and Gamers to the level that I've always wanted to take it to. I wouldn't take any of the money for my personal life. I would put it all into it. That's what I would do. Whether that means, studios, funding different projects, all of that. That's what I would do. But that's probably stupid at this point, but we'll see. No, it is. That's obviously the smartest move, is put it into the business and grow the business. Dan Vass says he would buy retro games for Dan Vask. Build an empire, G&G forever. That's right. So, and if anybody in the chat has $1 million that you can spare, hit your boy up. Okay. Hit your boy up. But not John freaking Murdoch, because he deserves a few days off after my return stream back. He deserves a few days off. So yeah, I know he's watching. Take a few days off, John. It's all good, brother. A Culver's franchise, that would be dangerous. Mark Andre Riz says, damn, I just spent it. Sorry. Damn it. Well, we'll see. We'll when you need it, Jeremy, a week or two. I can give you a week or two to come up with it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I give you a week or two to come up with it. Don't do anything illegal to get it. Okay? Don't do anything illegal to get it. Let's go ahead and clear that up right now. Let's make sure this is, on the level. Old Salty Dog says, I told you that the latest episode of Dutton Ranch was fire. As for Marshalls, well, it's like screwing skunk. It starts bad and it doesn't get any better. You just get used to the smell. Yes, the latest episode of Dutton Ranch was phenomenal. And at this point in time, I mean, what are we, 5 episodes into Dutton Ranch? I am enjoying Dutton Ranch as much as Landman, which is high praise from me because I'm a huge fan of the show Landman. But Dutton Ranch is really freaking good. Zwani says, damn it, now I need to stop super chatting. No, it's okay. That was just for John. So not you, Zwani. I would never tell you that. Vault 199 says, we demand you buy the Cobra chair with the $1 million. The Cobra chair looks so uncomfortable, but it would be cool to have. East Coast Toasted Boy says, what you use to see dislikes again? Just Chrome? Yeah, there's a Chrome dislike extension. I don't know what it's called, but just go to Google and type in YouTube dislike extension, and you should be able to find it. Can you watch Dutton Ranch as a standalone? I'm sure you could, but you're not going to understand the ramifications of what's going on without watching Yellowstone. At least there's moments, especially in the 5th episode, there's references. You're not going to understand who these characters are and what drives their decisions without watching Yellowstone. So as much as I would love to be able to say you can, I would highly recommend not watching Dutton Ranch without watching Yellowstone first. Because I think that you're going to miss out on significant details and character motivations without it. So, Lady Aaron D says, Yellowstone is great the first few seasons. Just watch Yellowstone. I agree. I think the first 3 seasons of Yellowstone are phenomenal, and then it kind of falls off. By the way, Lady Aaron D, last I talked to her about it, she was in season 4 of Breaking Bad. After initially not loving the first couple episodes, she's like, I'm just going to stop watching. And I told her, power through. Okay. And she did. And now she's on, I think, season 4. Is that where you are? And she's loving it because Breaking Bad is goated. Let's see here. East Coast Tozo, I got that one. Uper Viking says only 999,990 to go. That's not bad. It's not a bad start. Dan Bass says, welcome to the party. Mar Millen says, all right, take a break then. Thanks for saving your viewers money and sacrificing so much in the extremely difficult job of being tarded on the internet. Hold on just a minute. Hold on. You think I'm trying to be retarded? I don't have to try to be retarded, okay? It just comes naturally, all right? Thank you, Marmillan. I appreciate it. I did find the Breaking Bad meme that I was wanting to show you guys. Hang on if I can find it. Breaking Bad. Let's see. This was the one I was talking about the other day. And it's so funny. Right here. Here we go. Open a new tab. Right here. Breaking Bad without Skylar. Look at it. Everybody's just getting along, cooking burgers, hanging out, cracking jokes. You know, like, hey, man, that's good stuff right here. Breaking Bad without Skylar. Hey, boys, y'all want to come over and grill some food, drink some beer, you know, just shoot the shit. Maybe go out to the beach a little bit later. Breaking Bad without Skylar. There it is. So I love how Walt is wearing Monsters Inc. Crocs. He's wearing Monsters Inc. Crocs. Hell yes. There you have it right there. So Breaking Bad without Skylar. What do you think, Dan? You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? AI is going to recreate Breaking Bad without Skylar. And it's going to be just bros hanging out, talking shit. Okay. That's it right there. So he's even got the hat right here. The details, man. Look at that. Love it. Love it. Okay. Dr. Kanat says, get that Gingy autistic GOV check. Use Beardo. Grindo Drum says, check out at We Are Forbidden post about Operation MM. What is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. Old Salty Dog says, never watched Breaking Bad. Is it good? Bro. It's goated. Okay. It's the greatest thing ever. It really is. Like, it's not my favorite show of all time, but it's one of the best shows of all time. Could be the best show of all time. But it's right up there. It's phenomenal though. Marie would fuck something up though. That's true. That is true. Overrated. Stop. See, Breaking Bad's reached that point where now people think it's just cool to say it's overrated. Stop it. That's nonsense. It's the same thing as Nolan. People are like, he's overrated. Breaking Bad's overrated. No. Stop it. That's just that's a ridiculous take. Breaking Bad is phenomenal. Period. Jeremy, what is your favorite show of all time? I've got a lot. I mean, Sons of Anarchy is up there. As much as people complain, I love the TV show Lost. I think Lost is fantastic. Cobra Kai is up there. I love Cobra Kai. There's quite a few, obviously. So, Better Call Saul is great. True Detective season 1 might be the best season of television I've ever seen. Lost ended badly. I know that that's a controversial thing. Lost, actually, the ending of Lost works for me. I didn't really understand it very well the first time, but the second viewing, it made a lot more sense. So I do understand the criticisms of it, but with the second time I watched it, it made so much more sense to me, and I understood what they were going for. But even still, even if you have problems at the end, like the middle part of Lost, I was so fascinated with that show. I was so fascinated by it. And of course, you know, Sons of Anarchy. Some people have had problems with Sons of Anarchy, with the ending of that. But again, I think if you actually think about the show and if you think about the decisions, I think the ending of Sons of Anarchy makes perfect sense. But I get that there are some questions about that ending as well. Whoa, hold on just a minute. The GOP account was just suspended on Twitter. Look at this. The GOP account has been suspended on Twitter. And you're telling me that there aren't rogue leftists running this website still. Get out of here. Holy crap. Yep. The GOP account suspended. Let me see if we can find anything else about this. There's a ton of leftists still on that site, man. I know Elon will get it fixed, but the fact is how does it even happen? Like, this is the thing that you never hear about top Democrat accounts ever getting hit on major social media platforms. You never hear about that. Why do you never hear about, hey, this major Democrat account accidentally got suspended? Never hear that. Never happens. But it's always a conservative or a right-leaning person that accidentally gets demonetized or suspended. It's crazy. Let's see here. Okay, back to this. I wanted to hear more. Oh, here, this right here. Is this what you guys were talking about earlier? Trump saying this. Someone sent a super chat about this. President Trump tells Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu he could be left alone against Iran. You better be careful what you do because you could be left alone against Iran very soon. Damn. Trump laying down the law. Let's freaking go. Yeah, but you said Interstellar was good, though. I did not say Interstellar was good. I said Interstellar is fucking amazing. I said it's great. So if you're going to quote me, you got to quote me. I never said Interstellar is good. I said it's great. It's my favorite movie of all time. So my favorite movie of all time would not be good. It would be great. Aaron says the big Les show is definitely underrated. East Coast Toasted Boy says the extension works with Brave. Oh, really? Okay. Nice. Sam, it says, Jeremy, how about Prison Break? I've never watched Prison Break. I've heard a lot of people hype that up over the years, but I've never watched Prison Break. Piano Dean says, during season 3 of Lost, I wrote an essay of what I thought was ultimately going on the show, and I've never been more wrong about anything in my life. That's pretty good. 24 is good. A lot of people like that. Yeah, but Trump is Netanyahu's puppet, apparently. But let's go to the anti-Israel narrative. The anti-Israel narrative will be, well, this is what they're telling Trump to say so that you guys won't be suspicious of the control that Israel has over Trump. Okay. There you go. Sure. Let's go with that. GOP account suspended, and I'm not seeing any updates on this. Obviously, it will get handled, but it's crazy. What is this right here? Oh, there is a Carmelo Anthony update. Carmelo Anthony defense team is getting wrecked with their own witness. Quote, I think Carmelo was in the wrong. That's not prosecution talking. That's a witness the defense put on the stand. Are you kidding me?
Hi, Sandra. Well, we are expecting some sort of update any moment because jurors were supposed to return from a lunch break at 1:30 Eastern time. It's now 2:50 Eastern time. So this delay going over an hour right now. Some of the major questions we have, is the defense close to resting? And will Carmelo Anthony take the stand and testify in his own murder trial? Well, the defense has been arguing that Anthony stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in self-defense, and supporters have claimed that race is a factor. But inside the courtroom, jurors have heard testimony that paints a very different picture. Today, the defense called a school police officer to the stand who testified that knives under 5 inches are legal to carry in Texas. But the defense asked, it would surprise you if schools had policies against such things. The officer said, no, it would not. And one of the defense's own witnesses during cross-examination said, quote, "I think Carmelo was in the wrong." Prosecutors asked, did Carmelo Anthony provoke the confrontation? He answered yes. And on the prosecution side, jurors heard from student witnesses.
These are your own witnesses. But I need to remind you that it doesn't matter if your own witnesses are telling you the obvious here. If and when this doesn't go in the direction of the Democrats, there will be rioting. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. There will be riots. Nike stores will be looted. iPhone stores will be looted. And I will continue to say, make sure you seek shelter in bookstores. Go to a library. You will be safe. It's literally the safest place you can find. Libraries, bookstores.
Who described Anthony as the aggressor, saying he refused to leave their team's tent after Metcalf repeatedly asked him. A 16-year-old witness test. Anthony repeated, "F y'all, I'm not going to leave." He said Anthony also threatened, "Touch me and see what happens," while Metcalf told him, quote, "I am not going to fight you." Again, we're expecting some sort of update any moment, since jurors were supposed to return to that courtroom over an hour ago. Reporters have not been told yet what this delay is all about, Sandra.
Got it.
And Matt Walsh says, defense rests in the Carmelo Anthony case. Disaster for them. Their own witnesses contradicted themselves and testified that Carmelo was the aggressor and shouldn't have been in the tent. There essentially was no defense offered. They should have taken a plea deal a year ago, but his retarded family preferred to milk the whole thing for cash. One of the most open and shut murder trials we have ever seen. And that means Summer of Love 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever we're at is heading for us. Tree Bear says Reign of Fire is better than Interstellar. You know what? You're not going to troll me with trying to hate on Reign of Fire because I love that movie. Not enough people talk about Reign of Fire. That's a really good movie. And it gets completely overlooked. Tree Bear loves it, though. Tree Bear thinks it's a 10 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's really good. Well, the OJ trial was pretty open and shut. This is true, says Gary. And on top of that, do you know what's going on right now? What's going on this year? You know it. It's election season, ladies and gentlemen, because we live in a simulation. We live in a simulation. And so it's election season. So right on cue, we're going to have riots. We're going to have BLM marches. BLM is going to be dominated. All of your favorite sports teams and movie stars and TV shows are going to be telling you how great Black Lives Matter is. It's all going to start all over again because it's simulation time, because it's election season and we have to play identity politics every single time. So it's absolutely ridiculous. Here we go. Nerdrotic says Nolan will bend the knee. Well, just like Nick Saban did too. You know, Nick Saban bent the knee to Black Lives Matter. Alabama fans don't like to talk about that, but he did. Every one of your heroes will bend the knee to it. Bama fans in the chat, you guys remember when Nick Saban did his marching with Black Lives Matter? The greatest coach of all time, by the way. And yet he marched with Black Lives Matter. He sure did. Now, do you think he cared? Of course he didn't care. But he was trying to recruit. And they walked right into his trap. But yeah, he was walking around with a stupid BLM mask on and all that bullshit. So yeah, that none of these people are going to be immune to that shit. None of them. Okay, now right here, what is this? Will Cain rips anti-white racism occurring outside of the Carmelo Anthony murder trial of Austin Metcalf. The left screamed that there is bigotry going on in this trial, but it's coming from their side. I'm going to push you right into the grave, cracker. That's a misspelling, though. I don't think that they said... I don't think they put the hard R on it. I think that was a cracker. I don't know. Let's see.
Supporters of Carmelo Anthony.
I'm gonna push you if I get close enough. Push you right into that grave. You heard what I said, cracker.
Cracker. I knew it. That wasn't a hard R. That was an A right there. That was cracker.
You heard what I said, cracker. Neanderthal, I don't give a what you say. You cracker. Whatever you talk about the mother hey, you mother I don't give a whatever you talk about the mother hey, you know it. You good cracker is a dead cracker. Only good cracker is a dead cracker. Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
Quick sidebar on Dominique Alexander. This is the guy who chastised Austin Metcalf's father for being present at a press conference held by the Anthony family last year. Metcalf was escorted by police out of that press conference.
By the way, yes, Keita was there. Did not meet the height requirement, though, for the camera, but Keita was there. He was running around, and he was, to be fair, we got to give credit where credit's due. Keita was cussing out people's ankles, okay? He was cussing out their ankles. Like, he was giving them the business. He's like, fuck your ankle. He was giving their ankles the business. So credit where credit's due, man.
It's absolutely despicable. Alexander also happens to have a lengthy rap sheet, including felony injury to a child, stealing a car, felony theft, felony assault, evading arrest, and so on and so forth. And another interesting tidbit, Dominique Alexander's Next Generation Action Network has gotten funding from the Tides Foundation.
So I don't know when we're expecting. So the defense is rest. So I don't know exactly when we're going to find something out, but be prepared if you're in a blue city. Be prepared, okay? Jeremy's voice impression brings me joy. Well, I appreciate that. Major development in the Carmelo Anthony murder trial. The defense self-defense claim is crumbling fast. So here we go.
Was touched first before he allegedly stabbed Austin Metcalf to death inside that track meet tent. Jurors also hearing the 3.5-inch pocket knife believed to be the murder weapon is legal to carry in Texas. Correspondent Brooke Taylor is reporting live from McKinney, Texas, on all of this for us. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Sandra. Well, we are expecting some sort of update any moment because jurors were supposed to
We just saw this
return
part,
from
but
a lunch
let me
break
fast forward to
at
this.
1:35 CAF report.
Nation.
Right here.
Of
Taylor there in McKinney, Texas for us. Thank you. John?
All right, let's bring in criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno.
Chief Boxing Boa says, my wife says she's part of the 11% because she listens when I do. Keep her in line. Keep her in line. You'll be all right. And if she's mad at you because I said that, that's your problem, not mine. So I ain't got to deal with it. Lil K's computer repair says, that's why I like feet. Don't even start that shit.
A host of the Crime and Justice podcast and a Fox News contributor. You know, Donna, the first rule of cross-examination or even direct examination in a trial is never ask a witness a question you don't already know the answer.
She started laughing. Okay, she's a real one then. She's a real one.
And let's put that back up on the screen, what Brooke Taylor just told us about. The witness was asked by the prosecution in cross-examination, and the witness said, I think Carmelo was in the wrong. Prosecutor said, did Carmelo Anthony provoke the confrontation? Witness said, yes. I don't think the defense knew that that was coming.
They absolutely did not know that was coming. And that one question could really turn the tide here. I mean,
who is she? Is that Scott? I thought that was Scott Pressler for a minute. That freaked me out.
at the end of the day, I never thought that this case rose to the level of self-defense. This is a sad, awful, tragic circumstance where a young person made a really horrible decision.
I mean, I don't know who she is. She's probably a very lovely person, but I mean, I'm getting some weird vibes right now. And there's only one thing to say.
You need to settle down. You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was a general.
Right beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir.
I apologize.
Motherfucker.
I apologize now.
Decision, but decisions have consequences. And I think we're going to see that the self-defense claim is really not going to hold water here.
I mean, this changes everything.
It does. Well, it does. I mean, I think, though, that the prosecution's witnesses laid this out pretty clearly. I think the prosecutors did a very good job calling witnesses. They stuck to the facts. They asked the pertinent questions. They didn't allow witnesses to kind of go all over the place. And most of the witnesses did testify the same way. So, and remember, you're talking about 17-year-old kids at the time, and they're watching what happens. Emotions are high. But I think at the end of the day, they do want to get up and tell the truth. And I'm sure the defense was not anticipating that answer, but the prosecution asked the right question, and they definitely got the answer they were looking for.
So they had that police officer, Donna, on the stand who said that carrying a knife under 5 inches is not against Texas law, not illegal. It's probably, though, against school policy, which I believe it was. So he was on school property.
No question.
I mean, what?
Dude, he went there. You don't go somewhere with that type of weapon because you're trying to protect yourself. This guy was going there with the intent to cause harm. Like, I'm not trying to be racist. It just comes naturally, okay? But you can do your own kind of theorizing behind all of this.
I mean, what argument is the defense looking to make here? That, yes, he was on school property, but school wasn't officially in, and therefore the rules are different? I mean, what are they trying to get at here?
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't think it really matters, right? Whether you could have the knife legally doesn't mean that you could use it in the way that it was used. So I think
D-Day Law Tube. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to say anything that'll get me clipped out for Alyssa clips or anything like that. But if I was to ever get involved in LawTube, there's a couple of things I've never done that are requirements for that. But I don't really do cocaine or anything like that. Don't really have all that going on, but I don't know.
I think the argument is almost like a red herring. The school obviously has policies. You cannot bring weapons to school. I mean, guns are legal in Texas too, and you can't walk into the doors of schools with weapons. So at the end of the day, I don't think that this argument really makes any difference in terms of whether or not Carmelo Anthony had the right to use the.
The only reason we're even having a conversation about this is because of identity politics. That's it. If this was two white kids, nobody would be talking about this case. Nobody. That's the cancer that identity politics is. If this was two white kids, we would have a conversation about this. You would look at the circumstances of what it is, and you would recognize that one person brought a fucking weapon to a school function and killed another kid. That is it. Cut and dry, case closed. But the reason we're having this conversation is because the left is obsessed with identity and victim narratives and all that other bullshit. However, if it was two black kids, which again, I know it's a crazy scenario for me to assume that there could be black on black crime. I know that's wild for me to just theorize about because that's never happened. There's no black on black crime. The only people that are going after black people are police officers, apparently, because statistics don't fucking matter. The only reason we're talking about this is because of identity politics.
Weapon, whether he could have had it on his person or not, really isn't the issue.
Our good friend Paul Morrow offered this on the crime.
Carmelo Anthony is in the opposing team's tent for no good reason. Number two, he's armed with a knife. All right, those are not in dispute. Those are facts. Then we get the testimony. He's there. He's asked to leave. He doesn't want to leave. He says, touch me, you'll find out. According to the testimony, then Austin Metcalf puts a hand on him, gently shoves him, and then he reacts, reaches in, pulls out this knife. Why he had a knife at a track meet is going to be a big issue.
You bet it is. Donna.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's armed, is obviously the issue, and whether or not he had a right to have it legally on his person or
the fact that he's armed and that he used it, and the fact that there's witnesses that the defense called up that literally told you that he was the aggressor. Those, kind of a big deal.
Right to have it at school, I don't really think makes a difference. I mean, the argument for having the knife doesn't go to whether or not that's a separate crime. The argument having the knife goes to what his intent was. Why are you bringing a knife? And does that then rise to the level of a murder that's more serious than just some, provoked action that maybe you act in a way that you're not thinking about it, and it's more of a emotional reaction or sudden provocation.
So one of the key issues here is whether
Nandy for 50 says, I mean, I've avoided people like Miki and I'm still alive. Common sense 101. What do you mean by that, Nandy? People like Miki, you mean like loud? Gamers? Geeks and gamers people? I don't know what connection you're making there. I'm so confused. I don't understand what you mean by that. I'm so confused. People from Detroit.
or not Carmelo Anthony should have been in the opposing team's tent. Obviously, during football season, that's something that you don't do. But the defense had a witness on the stand today who said, look, at a track meet, things are a lot more laid back. It's not unusual for opposing team members to wander into the other one's tent. An issue here was, did Carmelo Anthony enter the opposing team's tent, and did Austin Metcalf take issue with that, try to push him out of the tent?
Again, if you just take all of emotion out of this and just call it for what it is, we know exactly what happened. And we know how this should all play out. But we also know that if it plays out how it should play out based on the facts that we have, we also know what's going to happen after the fact, because the rioting and the looting is going to happen. So just get prepared, because it's election season. Get prepared. Okay, next up, I don't know anything about this, but a major earthquake off the coast of Cuba rocks Florida, shaking reported at Disney World. Here we go.
Earthquake off the coast of Cuba leads to reports of shaking all across Central Florida.
And the First Warning Weather Team has now confirmed that this is the largest earthquake to hit this close to Florida in recorded history. As of right now, the quake registered as a 6.1, about 65 miles to the west-northwest of Mantua, Cuba. That is west of Havana.
We have team coverage this afternoon with office buildings closing and department buildings being evacuated, and even theme parks possibly impacted. Let's start with First Warning Chief Meteorologist Tony Minolfi with the latest on what we know about this earthquake. Tony?
Yeah, let's do that here right now. Again, if you're just getting home from work right around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we had an earthquake that occurred off the western tip there of Cuba. When you look at the magnitude there, 6.1. When I saw that number, it almost flawed me when I was driving on in. That is a very powerful earthquake. When you look at the magnitude scale here that goes up to 8 or higher, this is a moderate earthquake that did occur there in the southeastern portions.
I didn't feel anything. I'm in Orlando. I didn't feel anything.
There of the Gulf of Mexico. Had it been closer to, let's say, Cancun or on the northwestern tip there of Cuba, there would have been damage. Now, let's get back to that top story. As far as we can tell, and there's so much data you have to look at, this is probably at the top, if not the strongest magnitude earthquake closest to Florida since records have been taken, and you got to go back to the mid-1800s. The last time we had an epicenter in the state of Florida, you go back to that 4.4 in Palatka on the Marion County line over there, you go back to 1879. So this is a big deal today, and that's why a lot of people felt it. It doesn't compare to the 9.5 Chile in 1960 or the Alaska 9.2 or the Sumatra, Indonesia 9.1, where tsunamis are a big deal because of the way the ocean landscape is kind of put together, as is the case there in Japan, that 9.0 in 2011. And then in Russia.
Did he say Gulf of Mexico and not Gulf of America? This bastard. You racist bastard. I didn't catch that.
Couple years ago. So, Cam, a lot of history we've delved through here today, but the good news is it doesn't look like there's going to be a tsunami warning here in Central Florida.
That is definitely the good news. As we take a look at the advisories across our area, there are none in terms of any tsunamis at all. Typically, when you have a shallow earthquake, which is what this is about 21 miles deep, which is considered, it may sound deep, but it's considered geologically a shallow earthquake. Anything below about 41 miles deep is considered shallow. Oftentimes, you could get a tsunami, but thankfully, that is not the case at the moment with this earthquake. So I want to show you something that's called the shake scale. This is completely different from what Tony showed you, which is the moment magnitude scale, is 6.1.
There's so many fat jokes that could be made. There's so many fat jokes.
In terms of the shaking, the strongest shaking from this earthquake is a level 5, which is moderate shaking. But I want to show you, we got numerous reports of even weak and light shaking from this earthquake. So every blue dot that you see here, as our executive producer Jason Olin kind of zooms in, is a report of some shaking. If you hone
I wasn't talking about her. I was talking about the language she's using.
On Central Florida, look at the dozens of reports in this area. He's going to click on 1 or 2 to show you the level of shaking here. So when you see the click on the blue, there's a 1 or 2 that looks like to be a 2. So that was some weak shaking even here in Central.
Just like Chris Christie, bro, if somebody, do you know how good it would be if we could confirm that Chris Christie was here on vacation when this happened? Oh my goodness. Somebody find out the whereabouts of Chris Christie. Is he vacationing in Central Florida right now? If he's vacationing right now in Central Florida, the jokes, oh man, that would be glorious.
Florida. So yes, this earthquake was distance-wise far away, but the shaking could be felt as far north as even we've got some reports in North Florida as well. So that's the latest on this earthquake. We'll send it back to you guys.
And in downtown Orlando, we're hearing reports of an office building being evacuated.
First one, meteorologist Victoria Wisniewski.
Okay, this kind of sounds to me like when you, because again, we're not familiar with, we don't deal with earthquakes here. We do deal with hurricanes, but not earthquakes. But I was like when I was in Texas to go there for the Blaze and do that show, and they shut down the entire state, or at least the city of Dallas. They shut down everything because of an ice storm. Nobody could do anything. And like I drove my truck all the way from Florida to Texas. And so like I drove out of Dallas, but they shut everything down. They were calling the Marines in. They were calling the National Guard. They were like, we got to keep everybody off the road. It's the most dangerous moment in history. I'm like, it's really not that bad. It's just some, like everybody's got a truck in Texas. What are we doing? And so the reaction to what I'm hearing here in Central Florida is like people that have just never experienced anything like this. So they're panicking.
He is live from the Regions building. Victoria, what did we know?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. We are outside the Regions building. That's actually to the corner over here on my left. It is near the North Orange Ave. And this building was one of the ones that was evacuated. Their employees were told to actually go home for the rest of the day in order to finish up their work. And
go home? You sent them home? This has to be a liberal outfit right here. There's no way. You sent them home?
now we've been walking around.
Did you make sure that they have a fucking mask on? Did you send them home with a fucking mask?
Around here trying to find some residents who may have felt some of the shaking. A couple of the bars on this street didn't actually feel anything, but then I came across one of these residents here. Darius, you live about 2 blocks away from the Regions building. What did you feel this afternoon?
At first it was just a little rumble. I didn't think it was nothing.
Oh no. Oh no.
Feel this afternoon?
At first it was just a little rumble. I didn't think it was nothing too much, but I was shocked to know that it was an earthquake, definitely.
And when you first heard that, what was your first instincts?
My first instinct was that maybe it was a U-Haul truck or a big truck coming up the garage, because I live in apartments. But once I went outside and I saw nobody out there, I kind of raised some questions and some eyebrows.
And then what did you end up doing after that?
When I got back to the house, I kind of checked, the couch, because the couch was swaying a little bit. Yeah. So I checked the couch, it was nothing there, and I was like, maybe I'm just tripping, Yeah.
Yeah. And then you immediately went to social media, and then you found out from some of your friends and potentially maybe from West too that there was in fact an earthquake, and that was in Cuba. What's your reaction to it being so far away from us?
Cuba is pretty far, so I don't know how it reached us. That must have been, I'm praying for Cuba because that must have been really rough for them.
Yeah.
For us to feel it. But yeah, I've been on social media and all my friends was asking, was that an earthquake? What's going on? Then my girl sent me the news article, but it was in Spanish, of course.
Plot twist. Ain't nobody saw that one happening.
But and I read the news article and I found out that it was actually connected to Cuba.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Darius, for being able to speak with us. So as again, we are here in downtown Orlando.
All things considered, he does seem like a nice dude. It was nice that he even brought up that if we felt any thing here in Florida and it was from Cuba, prayers up for them. That was a nice thing he said. Okay, we're being fair. He seems like a nice guy.
Near North Orange Ave. The Regions building was one of those buildings that was evacuated. We're going to continue to update you throughout the afternoon to see all of the repercussions of what we felt here in downtown Orlando. Right now, a meteorologist, Victoria.
Oh, there you go. I survived the earthquake of 2026. We will rebuild. I'm going to make some t-shirts. Hashtag we will rebuild. I survived earthquake 2026 Florida. We will rebuild. It's going to be amazing. We're going to rebuild. We're going to take donations. We're going to put GoFundMe's out there. Hashtag we will rebuild. All right. It will happen. I feel very confident and motivated by this. Okay. Let's see here. Jeffrey Andrews says, Anthony has some half-witted supporters, doesn't he? Yes. Maximus BT says, did someone say feet? Nobody said anything about feet. Don't worry about it. Saratoga says, the official GOP X account changed their handle to @Republicans. Therefore, the GOP handle has a technical temporary suspension before likely being available again. Okay. Well, that's good perspective then for us to have. Let me see if I can find anything about that. But is that here? Let me see this. So @Republicans, is that what they did? Yep, that's what it looks like. So, yep, here it is. All right, thanks for the context. No need to worry. We're now Republican. So the GOP account is just turned over to the Republicans. So there you have it. Okay. Well, at least we have some context to that. Thank you, Saratoga. Appreciate that. Mr. Run Thing says, I wish the GOP was based enough to get suspended. Honestly, that should have been our first thought right there. That should have been our first thought. Miniature Run Thing says, defensive weapons testing by Cuba. I saw Cole Hauser says Destro was testing the weather dominator. If only we lived in a world where this was true. If only. Godzilla's Greaser says, let's see, Ronan must be upset. Miniature Run Thing says, I'm literally shaking right now. East Coast Host Boy says, maybe Chris Christie was tripping to the ground. Cole Hauser says, did you check in on your Joes to make sure they are okay? I'm a little concerned to go check the shelves right now because after this massive attack that we have been facing, I'm a little nervous that my GI Joes didn't survive, but I have faith that they will. But we will rebuild either way. We will rebuild. Sensei Sharkbait says, thought Animal Kingdom was your favorite because of all the gay scenes. I like Animal Kingdom. It's a good show, but I wouldn't put that anywhere near my favorite show. Dark Warlord says, we will rebuild tax. Manly ass fuck for $1. Good Lord, man, you guys are insane. Let's see. The Indoor Farmer rated us on Rumble. Hey, thank you. I'm sorry if I'm seeing this late, but thank you for the raid. If you're still watching, I appreciate the raid. over on Rumble. Hail to the chat. It did not give me the notification when you raided for some reason, or I would have called that out sooner, but I see it now. So thank you for the raid over on Rumble. Real Stream Hero says Scott Pressler just said on Twitter that GOP account, oh, there it is, was suspended because it was changed to Republicans. Tweeted 3 minutes ago. Thank you, Real Stream Hero. Well, whatever says, I finally watched Peanut Butter Falcon. Wasn't expecting Jake the Snake Roberts. It's a great movie. I need to watch it again. It's been a while since I watched it. Phil says Man on Fire over Interstellar. Well, I ain't going to argue that. Man on Fire is one of my top 5 movies of all time. Man on Fire is great. And I think it's Denzel Washington's best movie. Man on Fire is a absolute masterpiece. So Denzel's made a lot of great movies. A lot. But in my opinion, Man on Fire is his best movie and his best performance. I know a lot of people may have different opinions on that, but Man on Fire is peak for me. Peak. Training Day. Yeah, Training Day is great, but as a movie, Man on Fire is better. But I mean, you can't go wrong with any. Crimson Tide, yes, one of the best. Equalizer. Crimson Tide. Cole Hauser says Interstellar over Man on Fire. I'm not going to argue that one either. I mean, you can't go wrong with either. They're both great. But I would put Man on Fire. It's at the top of my favorite movies list. Like you've obviously got Interstellar. Toy Story, the first Toy Story is up there. The Dark Knight. Man on Fire. And then you kind of I know like a lot of people don't even know why I'm saying this, but like the 1987 G.I. Joe, the movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. The Never-Ending Story is going to be on my favorite movies of all time list. So Never-Ending Story is phenomenal. I like Inception. Inception is not one of my favorite movies of all time, but I like Inception. You gonna watch Game 3 tonight? Probably. I watched the Game 2. At least I watched the fourth quarter of Game 2. Legend is an awesome one. Empire Strikes Back tops always. Well, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, but my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. That is my favorite. Denzel is the same guy in every movie, mid-actor. You're just trolling. I can't even take that seriously. But hey, something else you can't take seriously. James Tallarico is trying to rebrand himself as a Texas barbecue loving, as previously bragging about running a non-meat campaign in 2022. He's just a good old boy from Texas that loves barbecue, guys. That's right. The photo op comes after Senate hopeful Tallarico faced a barrage of vegan accusations when resurfaced video showed him embracing a meat-free campaign and claiming, "We are only buying vegan products from our local vegan businesses." Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? This is an absolute disaster. Come on, man. This is embarrassing. This dude is a joke. And this is where politicians think you're stupid. They just think that you're stupid. They think that they can literally just rewrite history right in front of your face. And to be fair, with what's going on in Texas right now, maybe they can get away with it because they're literally stealing an election in California right now. So why can't they get away with it in Texas? You know? Griffin Warrior for 50 says Asmongold's abortion take is incoherent and his car analogy is wrong. Better analogy to his point. We should abolish police from traffic situations because traffic signs should be sufficient. The government can't be trusted to sort these situations out. Yeah, I mean, his car analogy, I thought that was one of the dumbest analogies I've heard. I couldn't believe that was his take on that. But at the end of the day, his whole entire premise of this argument is horrible. I don't know if he's talked about it anymore. Obviously, I have a video on D-Day Cover 2 where I'm breaking the whole thing down, and it is a terrible take from him. And I don't know if he's going to double or triple down or anything like that. But at its core, we have rules against driving your vehicle dangerously. Like, we have rules against that. You can't just go out there. His whole analogy was, and again, I'll try to break this down. I don't know if I can remember word for word what he's saying, but he's basically like saying that you don't want government oversight. And if we have to, I don't even want to repeat what he said, but if like we have to get rid of a few kids in order to avoid government oversight for this, he said if we have to get rid of a few healthy kids in order to avoid government oversight, it's worth it. I'm like, what? And then he's like, well, we could make society a safer place. You know, we could make people drive 10 miles an hour everywhere they go and nobody would get into an accident. But that's inconvenience. So we are willing to put people's lives in danger for inconvenience. And I'm thinking, no one goes out there with the intent to harm someone with their vehicle. And if they do go out with the intent to harm someone with their vehicle, whether they attempt to do it or if they were successful, they will be held responsible. But yet when it comes to this abortion topic, you are allowed to kill your kid. It's insane. What are we talking about? I just couldn't believe that he brought that analogy into it. Unbelievable. But yeah, so thank you for the 50. I appreciate it. JMNZZ450 says Batman Begins greater than The Dark Knight. You know, I don't feel strongly to argue that point because they're both phenomenal movies. I think Batman Begins is a better Batman movie than The Dark Knight, but I think The Dark Knight is just a slightly better movie. And maybe it's because of Ledger's performance as the tiebreaker, because they're both equally great, but Ledger's performance might actually be the tiebreaker. But yeah, Batman Begins is a better Batman movie for sure, but they're both masterpieces. So I'm not going to have a strong opinion on which is better than the other, but I tend to go with The Dark Knight just because, you know, Ledger's performance is just so legendary. But I love both of them. Probably equal. But yeah, I mean, look what we're arguing. We're arguing of like, is Nolan's most popular movie, does he have other movies that are better? You know, because his resume is unmatched. And I still do believe that The Odyssey will be a good movie with some glaring casting problems that will distract the conversation. And if it's not, then I'll say so. Because, I mean, outside of Tenet, he's pretty much got a flawless track record of making good movies. Good to great movies. Let's see here. Phil says, he's Canadian. My opinion means more. I agree with that. I think we all do. Katie Holmes should be the tiebreaker. Okay, that was a good comment right there, Steven. That is a good comment. Hey, this is a smart guy. Interstellar's my favorite. You sound like a very intelligent human being. Yes. Katie Holmes should be the tiebreaker. That is great. All right. That is a good one right there. Because if you really want to sit there and talk about the downgrade of Dark Knight, it is Maggie Gyllenhaal. Maggie Gyllenhaal is terrible. The Prestige is Nolan's best movie. This is what's great is that if you bring Nolan up, you're going to have people that are going to say he sucks and he's overrated because that's how popular he is. But then you're going to have about 5 different or 6 different opinions of what his best movie is, showing that he is the greatest filmmaker on the planet today. And he has been for the past 20 years. Because you're going to get so many people saying this is his best movie. That's his best movie. And they're all considered some of the greatest movies of all time. But we'll see though. See what happens with Odyssey, because he could be stepping in it. Minister of Realm Thinks says James Calorico. Is that how we're saying it now? Calorico? Tenet is a good concept, poor execution. I would agree with that. I think it's a terrible execution in Tenet. I think Tenet's a bad movie. Cole Hauser says that Tallarico looks like Richie from Happy Days. Vice the Blue Rogue says Book of Eli and American Gangster are Denzel's best films. That scene in American Gangster when they're at the diner, what an amazing moment. Let's see. Raymond Daniels says a favorite revenge movie series: Man on Fire, The Terminal List, and Road to Perdition. That's Road to Perdition. I don't think I've ever seen Road to Perdition. That's the Tom Hanks movie, right? I don't think I've ever seen that one. I've heard good things about it, but I don't think I've seen it. Tenet is okay. Leave Tenet alone. I mean, listen, man, you're not going to find a bigger Nolan fan than me, but I don't like Tenet. I mean, I've tried, but I just don't like it. I don't think it's good. I think it's interesting concept, but I don't think it's a good movie. Dermy Wormy says, I haven't watched in weeks. I come back to you talking about Christopher Nolan again, almost like I never left. Welcome to the party, pal. What up, Dermy Wormy? You haven't watched in weeks. You rated me last stream, retard. You literally rated my stream last time. The last time I was live, I got a raid from Dermy Wormy. The hell are you talking about? You don't watch too much quartering. You're just lying about shit now. Come on, Dermy. Don't lose yourself. Yeah, but he didn't watch. Memento is probably his masterpiece and definitely underrated. Again, that's what I'm talking about. You got people that'll say Memento is Nolan's best movie. You'll have Prestige. You'll have The Dark Knight. You'll have Interstellar. You'll have Inception. You'll have Batman Begins. Some people may say Oppenheimer. I liked Oppenheimer a lot. I loved Oppenheimer, but I don't think many people are going to say Tenet's his best movie. I don't think many people are going to say Dark Knight Rises is his best movie. I don't think many people are going to say Insomnia is his best movie, but you got about 6 movies there that like people are going to say could be his best movie. I raid people. That doesn't mean I watch. You have to be mean about it, Dermy. I mean, we were just kind of joking. We were just kind of having a good kind of back and forth and a good rapport. And you just kind of like took it to a mean place. Like you didn't have to be mean about it. I mean, I was just joking. I was just having fun. And then you just come in here and just hit me, man. I was like, damn, is it that serious? Okay. Sorry I offended you. I apologize. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take. You stopped wearing the 199 hat for drunk 3PO. That hurt, but I didn't say anything about it. I didn't make a big deal of it. I didn't make a big hoopla that you stopped wearing the 199 hat and then you're getting clipped by all these channels. And instead of you getting clipped by all these channels rocking the 199 hat, you're getting clipped wearing drunk 3PO's hat. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't make a big deal of it because I didn't want to, show that it was bothering me. And yet now all this is happening. Marmilla says Dermy's done so much quartering stuff that he has become the oranges. Oh, man. Jeremy acting like Homelander now. Draxtrack says Memento actually makes you think and rewatch the movie. It's a complex movie compared to the others of his that serve you everything on a platter. I wouldn't consider Inception or Interstellar things that are put to you on a platter. I think the Batman movies are obviously the Batman movies. I think Tenet does not serve you everything on a fucking platter. Not even close. If anything, it leaves way too much to not like. I wish he would have served me a little bit more on Tenet so I could halfway understand what the fuck was going on. Oppenheimer, in that non-linear way, it's kind of like you need to watch Oppenheimer a second time to really kind of grasp the way he's trying to tell the story. So I don't know if I would agree with that. Prestige doesn't offer everything on a platter. I just don't understand where that comes from. The Batman movies, yes, they're Batman movies. So like those are very just, simple to understand the process. Everything else, not so much, in my opinion. Dermy says, here you go, my 199 tax and making you cry tax. Dermy, I was just trying to get another super chat out of you, brother. And it worked. So thank you, Dermy. I appreciate it. Now you can put this on your stream, and then you can use me grifting you to then grift me. Okay? So you should show, how about you sent me like 25, 30 bucks? Okay? And you tell them like, Jeremy just manipulated me into sending him 30 bucks, chat. Can you guys believe this piece of shit just manipulated me? Okay? And then you play this on your stream. You play what I'm saying right now. And they will then support you to get back at me. You're welcome. Scully for 50 says, I want a 199 Hout. Where can I get one? Scully, you're going to be at the Vegas meetup, correct? Correct? If you're going to be at the Vegas meetup, we will have them there. I think you said you're going to be there. I think. You don't think I was planning on that, says Dermy Wormy. Hail Dermy Wormy. He's actually doing a great job, man. I'm really, really happy with your streams and your coverage on everything, man. You're doing a great job, brother. You bet? Yes. Okay. I got you, Scully. We will have them. We will have them. So I got you. Zwanny420 says, I have yet to watch the Dark Knight trilogy. Should I start with the Dark Knight Rises? Good old Beardo right there. Beardo take where he's like, you haven't seen the Dark Knight trilogy? Start with Rises. Start with Rises. By his logic, though, he would tell you to start with the Dark Knight because the Dark Knight is kind of like considered to be the best of the trilogy. And when he says Arkham City is the second movie in that game trilogy. And it just shows the retardation of that take. It's such a terrible take. Like, good Lord. But Zwanny, are you memeing saying you've never seen it, or are you seriously have it? If you haven't, welcome to greatness. Although The Dark Knight Rises is a bit disappointing, I still like it, but it has problems that the first two movies do not have. Granola Grin says, Jeremy, did you see the reports coming from LA voters using Ballroom to show ballot tracks to show their votes a week ago for Pratt still aren't processed and counted? I didn't see that specifically. I don't know why I said Ballroom. Ballot tracks. I said Ballroom. What the hell's wrong with me? Besides being retarded. No, I didn't see that though. I'll have to look into that. I haven't, and I'm planning to. I will start with the beginning. Good call. Don't listen to anything Beardo says. Don't listen to anything. But with that said, we want to talk about what's going on. So right here, Governor candidate Steve Hilton just revealed the stunning reality of California fraud. They allow mail-in ballots to backdate by hand so they can be counted late and not invalid. Here you go.
There's one thing that is just extraordinary to anyone watching, which is this mail-in ballot 7 days after the election. The argument is, well, we want maximum participation. So if someone wants to vote on election day, we're going to treat sending in a mail ballot the same as if you were voting. That's why we're going to give 7 days for the ballot to arrive. But there's a line in the law that says that actually the proof that you mailed your ballot on or just before election day, even if it arrives after election day, it's not just the postmark. You can write it. You can handwrite the date.
Wow.
And that counts. It's not, I was talking about this at the last elections. I had a whistleblower from the Postal Service explaining this. So just to be really clear what that means, you can backdate your ballot.
By hand.
Counted by hand, and it will be counted. That's how
outrageous.
Insane this system is.
I didn't even know that. That is
Unbelievable.
outrageous. Oh my God. You talk about, listen, congratulations on your ground game. What you have managed to do in California is
it's crazy. It's out of control. And, you know, like, here we got this. Spencer Pratt says hundreds of thousands of votes remain to count after Rahman leads him. Folks, we're dealing with a fraction of a percentage point difference. There's still hundreds of thousands of votes outstanding. The LA officials have given us the next 3 weeks to count. Let's get her done. President Trump said it's not possible for Spencer Pratt to have lost the LA runoffs after the big lead he had. Third world nation, rigged elections. Now they'll be working on great guy Steve Hilton. Won't have results for possibly 2 weeks, according to officials.
By about 3,000 votes into that critical second place spot. If Rahman holds on to her lead, she'll advance to the runoff election against Mayor Karen Bass in the fall. Now, before the ballot dump yesterday, Spencer Pratt posted in part writing, "We've got all the way till July 6th to keep counting. They're not the only ones who know where to find votes." Now, moments after the new numbers came in, Mayor Karen Bass's campaign released a statement attacking Rahman and labeling Rahman her general election opponent, seemingly ruling out a Pratt comeback. A Bass spokesperson writing, "We look forward to winning a contest against an opponent who allows encampments near schools and fights against hiring more cops, yet is MIA on saving Hollywood jobs and fighting back when ICE invades LA." Now, on Friday, we interacted with an assistant U.S. attorney inside the ballot counting facility here. The DOJ says he was observing, and the first assistant U.S. attorney in LA, Bill Asaley, says California has refused to give the federal government its voter rolls and allows first-time voters to use IDs like gym and debit cards. Asaley also writes, California allows third parties to collect and turn in ballots on voters' behalf, a practice known as ballot harvesting with few restrictions. This makes it difficult to track who actually received, completed, and submitted each ballot. Now, Asaley says there are ongoing
So that's what you were talking about, Granola.
voter fraud investigations here in Southern California. He points to a recent woman who was arrested for allegedly paying people on Skid Row to register to vote.
I'm glad that President Trump is focusing in on this because as much attention as possible needs to be on this. I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. What is this right here? CNN just dropped new polls that show nightmare news for Karen Bass and Republicans alike. Hang on. Bass would have crushed Pratt by 18 points. That's what the polls are showing. What is this? Hang on. Let's see what CNN's got garbage.
The thing is, the person who might be most upset about all of this, not a Republican, but the incumbent mayor of Los Angeles, Democrat Karen Bass. With us now is Chief Data Analyst.
Because they're saying Rahman took away from Karen Bass. That's the argument they're going to make.
What am I talking about here?
Yeah, this is the dumbest conspiracy theory I have ever heard because the Democratic establishment and Karen Bass wanted Spencer Pratt in the runoff. They don't want any part to do with Nithya Rahman. Why is that? Because just take a look here. Okay, Mayor.
No. I don't buy that at all. They are terrified of Spencer Pratt. They are terrified of him. I don't buy that shit at all.
Runoff polls, Bass versus opponent versus Pratt. Bass would have crushed Pratt by 18 points. That's what the polling showed. Look at how she does against Nithya Rahman, on the other hand. Rahman is ahead by 4 points. Bass has a real race on her hand if, in fact, Rahman is the one who advances. And, of course, the Democratic establishment is backing Karen Bass. But versus Spencer Pratt, she was crushing him. She wanted to face Pratt. She wanted nothing to do with Rahman. That's why these conspiracy theories, simply put, make no sense, people.
When we talk about favorability, you have more evidence here.
Yeah, this is more evidence. You know, why is it that Nithya Rahman's doing so much better than Spencer Pratt would against Karen Bass? It's simply put, Rahman is actually decently liked by LA City voters. Look at this.
This is massive spin by CNN.
Okay, Nithya Rahman, +5 on the net favorability rating. Karen Bass, way underwater at -22 points. You basically just need someone who's half decently well-liked to be favored, or at least have a real shot against the incumbent Karen Bass. Spencer Pratt, on the other hand, look at that. He's even less liked than Karen Bass. He's 32 points underwater. Karen Bass doesn't want to face Nithya Rahman. She would love to face Spencer Pratt because, simply put, she's managed to find someone who's more popular than she is. And
Yeah, that's crazy cope right there. So, I mean, right now, and with all the attention that's being put on California, they are trying to do anything they can to get people to look the other way. That's the point right there. Nick from Echo Base says we just dropped a video interviewing the ex Bricks and Minifig store who gives some insight into the corruption of that company. Check it out if you're interested. Sorry, I have the hiccups all of a sudden. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you guys. Good work over there. Keep up the good work. You guys are awesome. Hail to Echo Base Network. Quentin Edwards says that Rich Eisen has bad TDS. Said Madison Square Garden is Madison Square Ballroom. Is that what he said? I know Rich Eisen has TDS. I absolutely do. The real Captain Dread says, I've been finding Spider Noir great, but I can be biased because I think Nicolas Cage is the GOAT. I like the time period. What's your perspective on the show? Phenomenal show. Nicolas Cage. I think that there might have been some questions from some people about if he was the right guy for the role. Now that we've all seen it, phenomenal performance, phenomenal show, and Nicolas Cage was the perfect guy for it. Spider Noir is fantastic. If you have not checked it out, you should. It is awesome. It is great. So yeah, I recommend everybody go check that out. There's, like I said, man, there's a lot of good stuff in entertainment. There's still a lot of dog shit. And I think that the Odyssey is going to be the center of all discussion with the internet for this year. Because right now you have a lot of good shows and you've had a lot of good movies. But with Nolan being Nolan, if the Odyssey is completely overrun by identity politics and woke casting, if it destroys this movie, that will be the tone setter for the entire year of entertainment. And that's justifiable. And that's the Odyssey. Everything is pointing to this movie as to, and I'm excited for the discussion because I really don't. Obviously, as a Nolan fan, I want it to be good, but I also don't have any sympathy for him if it's bad because he did it to himself. It's going to be a huge movie. I don't think it'll be $1 billion movie, but I do think it's going to be a big movie. I think it's going to make a lot of money. I'm still thinking between $700 and $800 million is kind of the sweet spot for it. But if it's overrun with identity politics and woke casting, that is going to be such a shit show. But there's also people that if it is good, there will be people that will completely ignore it being good because they want it to be bad. But there's also people that want it to be good that will ignore if it's bad and pretend that it's good. So we are looking at a complete shit show of a discussion for the Odyssey. And that will determine how 2026 will be viewed because you still have the Spider-Man movie that I think is going to be probably really good. You got Dune 3, which has potential to be really good. Doomsday is a complete unknown. Have no idea what to expect from that. I think Toy Story 5 may be the biggest movie of the year. Obviously, you've had the Mario movie that did $1 billion. You have Michael that's going to potentially do $1 billion. You've had Project Hail Mary. You've had Obsession. You've had Backrooms. You've had He-Man, which a lot of people like. Then you have the TV show side. There's a lot of good TV shows out there. So entertainment's in a crazy place right now, but the Odyssey carries all of the discussion right now. Minister Von Think says, how come nobody ever talks about how Raman was literally part of Karen Bass's administration before running against her? It's political theater. Absolutely. Toy Story will suck. I don't know, man. I like the trailers for what I've seen. The trailers look really good for Toy Story. Especially after 4, I really wasn't sure what to expect out of the franchise. And it could be terrible, but I do like the trailers. So Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Yes, we will be covering that. So, Nintendo Direct live stream tomorrow on Geeks and Gamers Play tomorrow morning, right before Daily. Felon of Detroit launching ships and shit. So Beep will be there. That will be tomorrow on Geeks and Gamers Play YouTube channel. Not the main, but the Geeks and Gamers Play channel. So we will be reacting to that, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting some big announcements. And Nintendo's got to bring it because they're in a weird place right now. Mike Johnson on Los Angeles elections right here. Here we go.
So does the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, it's so low.
The president keeps saying that there's election fraud in the California mayor's race. What evidence is there to prove that?
You tell me, Manu.
They are counting votes weeks after the election. We have entire nations with huge populations like India that can count their votes in 24 to 48
You're saying
hours.
it's rigged like the president?
I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm saying it stinks to high heaven, and everybody knows that. Let's remove the appearance of impropriety. Let's have what a concept. Let's have votes on an election the day of the election. That's what many states are able to do. I think California is playing around with this.
But what evidence is there to prove that there was rigged?
Look, I don't. Some of these efforts are so.
Well, I'm so tired of these fucking reporters that are supposed to be asking questions of the people involved with this shit. What evidence? He literally just laid out the evidence for you. Why does it take you 5, 6, 7, 8 fucking days to record or to count these fucking votes when you have other places with just as many and they have it done in less than 24 hours?
Diabolical and so far upstream it is impossible to prove. But I think everybody knows instinctively something is wrong here. And that's a concern. We need people to believe in the integrity of our election system.
Why aren't they in California right now asking Californian officials, how the fuck is this happening? How? How is it that Florida can count and have votes done in a few hours? You motherfuckers can't do this within a week. Explain that to me. Why aren't the reporters asking those questions?
It is critical to maintain a constitutional republic. We're going to keep working to pass the Save America Act because it requires, as you know, proof of citizenship and a photo ID to vote. Those are also 90% plus issues in public opinion, and 70% of Democrats understand that's necessary. We have
Aren't
to
you all
grant
just saying
free
that
and fair
because
elections.
you've lost the election because the Republicans did not win in this race? This is
didn't
why
hear me
you're
say
hearing that?
I'm saying that every leader of all parties should demand election integrity. And if somebody is opposing that, you should look at their motives. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see you later.
There's Mike Johnson pretending like he cares. John Jones says, do you think Toy Story 5 will outperform Michael? My gut feeling right now is that Toy Story 5 will be the biggest movie of the year so far. So I think that right now, the Mario Galaxy movie is the biggest movie of the year. Michael is going to be close to surpassing Mario, but I think Toy Story 5 will pass all of them. And I think Toy Story 5 has the potential to be the biggest movie of the year, period. I think Spider-Man is also going to be in that conversation, and Doomsday. Those are the players right there for biggest movie of the year. So it's going to be a busy year with a lot of entertainment. Why? Because of Toy Story 1. Just because the Toy Story franchise. I mean, Toy Story franchise is huge. It's incredibly popular. And it's incredibly iconic. Even with the step back of 4, Toy Story is still massively popular. And again, this is where perspective comes into play that I think a lot of people lose the sight on the internet. I mean, I think Barbie is a good, kind of conversation point from that standpoint, because I didn't see the Barbie movie. I didn't care about the Barbie movie. I was never going to see that fucking movie. But the idea that there were people on the internet that were saying Barbie was going to flop shows the stupidity of people in their own bubble. Barbie was not going to flop. Barbie was a massive success. What did it get, like $1.5 billion? And you have people going, oh, this movie's going to flop. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And so for people that are probably going to say Toy Story is going to flop, you don't know what you're talking about. Toy Story will be a massive, massive hit. Will it be good? Don't know, but it will be a huge hit. So we'll see. And I got this right here. Listen, Donald Trump is going to be at the New York Knicks game tonight. Okay? And the Don may actually hoop it up. If the Knicks are down by 5 or 6 points with a minute to go, bring the Don in. All right? This is the answer. Bring the Don in.
Hey, Isaiah.
How you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Melania.
Hello, how you doing? It is so good to see you.
Now, this is a winner.
I think y'all should make the Donald shoot a free throw.
Oh, and the pressure's on. Oh, we got a sub. We got a sub. We got a sub.
Look at Penny. It's Penny Hardaway. My boy Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
You got a pretty cheerleader.
This definitely is going in.
Goat.
Hey, Isaiah.
Greatest of all time. You see how much they love the Don? You see how much they love the Don? Everybody loved the Don until he became a Republican, and suddenly they all have to pretend to hate him. It's so ridiculous. Penny was my favorite back in the day. I loved Penny Hardaway, man. He was always awesome. But yeah, there you go. And the Don right there. Boom. Let's freaking go. But according to the left, Trump never had anything to do with the Knicks. Okay. He's never claimed to be a Knicks fan, except for the fact that, you know, he's kind of been at a few games over the years. You know, kind of been at a few games. Is that him with Howard Stern? Holy crap. The fall of Howard Stern needs to be studied. That's I mean, I was never a Howard Stern guy, but the fall from Howard Stern has got to be studied. Because back in the day, Howard Stern was the man. Everybody loved Howard Stern. He was the king of all media. He was a cultural phenomenon, and the dude has turned out to be just the biggest coward and the biggest loser ever. Yeah, there's the Don, you know, but, you know, apparently he's not allowed to go to a game. But you know who is allowed to go to a game and distract? Barack Hussein Obama and Big Mike. There was no problem with the NBA All-Star game was in Los Angeles, and the Obamas were there. See, like this is what I pay attention to, okay? Who creates the most noise? The Don creates the most noise. No matter where he goes, the reactions of the Don transcend everything. Barack Hussein Obama shows up to a game, whatever. Okay, yay, people are clapping, celebrating, what. The Don shows up, the entire world pays attention. That's the true sign of someone that has aura. That's somebody that can turn the needle, positively or negatively. In the WWF, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're absolutely right, Cole Hauser. You're absolutely right. And he's got that attitude era kind of mentality. We were talking about movies earlier. The reason The Odyssey is the cultural standpoint of the year is because it's Nolan, because Nolan turns the needle like nobody else. When Ridley Scott had the Gladiator 2 movie, you know, people reacted, but it really didn't have that much of a cultural discussion around it. It kind of was like a fart in the wind. It came and it went, and nobody really, people are just like, yeah, this sucks. We don't want anything to do with it. Even had Denzel fucking Washington in it. Nobody cared really. You know, people are like, all right, we'll talk about it for a week and it's done. Nolan, they're going to talk about Nolan for the rest of the fucking year because he's Nolan. He's got that aura about him. Barry does not have the Trump level of aura, but Trump does. Only the Don can turn the needle like this. And he'll be at Madison Square Garden tonight. Right here we go. Game 3 of the NBA Finals just hours away, and it feels like every single New York police officer is outside of MSG. The police presence tonight is massive. You can tell this isn't just another game because the Don is showing up.
Oh, yeah? Thank you.
Like this. Now, just so you're clear, or we're clear from reports anyway, reports say that Trump will not be at courtside. He will be in the owner's suite. I'm personally glad about that. I think optically it would be cool if Trump was courtside. It would be cool to see him there and all of the attention would be on him. But for safety reasons, I'm glad Trump will not be courtside. I'm glad he will be in the owner's suite and he will be isolated and protected from that perspective. It speaks volumes that Trump can go to a UFC event and sit in the front and there won't be any issues, but he can't do that at an NBA game. That speaks volumes. And I'll just leave it at that. That just speaks volumes. Trump can show up to a UFC event with Elon Musk, with Marco Rubio, with Tucker Carlson, with whoever he wants, and it's not even a problem. He sits in the front row. Shows up with his family, not a big deal. Can't show up to an NBA game in the front row, though. You know why? We know why. Okay, we got this one right here.
Square Garden for Game 3. President Trump is coming here to Madison Square Garden for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. So it means there's going to be a massive security operation.
You may need the security with these shirts tonight.
It's going to be chaos for him coming here.
I think he's going to get booed. Officials canceled the watch parties that were right here outside of Madison Square Garden for Games 1 and 2. The NYPD and Secret Service are setting up a security perimeter that spans 5 blocks and 2 avenues. The only people who will be able to get into that secure space are people with tickets to the game or people with official business in the area. Everybody coming to the game is not allowed to bring a bag, and they all have to go through TSA-style screening. The Secret Service at Madison Square Garden recommends getting here 2 hours before tip-off to allow enough time. Despite all the additional...
2 hours? That seems like not enough time. If you've ever been to a big event like that, 2 hours seems like not enough time, in my opinion. But maybe they've gotten logistics better than I thought.
Security measures and extra police presence, the police commissioner says that rail operations at Penn Station won't be affected. And actually, people coming to the game are encouraged to take the train rather than driving. President Trump is coming.
There you have it. And the game tonight, I believe, is at 8:30 Eastern, I believe. JDT199 says nothing. Says nothing. You love it. W. Porter says the left never concerned about evidence when they were pushing Russia collusion for 3 years. Absolutely. John Jones, I got that one. East Coast Toast Boy says, you know what's really going to bother Barry? After Trump finishes his presidency, he will still be in the spotlight post-presidency, and Barry won't. That is true. Trump is always the man in the arena, no matter what. Okay, so we're going to end it here. We're going to do another CobraCast tonight so I can cover Trump in Madison Square Garden. Make sure you're following on Kick, all right, and Rumble. Get those notifications. I think Pre-Dawn Corpse did drop 3 kicks earlier. Thank you for the kicks over on Kick, Pre-Dawn Corpse. And yeah, we'll be live again tonight. Kick is very good for notifications, so even if you're not going to watch over there, the notification will always help you know that I'm live. So follow over there. Follow on Rumble. Follow on YouTube. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in a few hours, and we will cover Trump at Madison Square Garden tonight for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. You guys have a good evening, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.